Sexual reproduction, it involves fusion of two compatible gametes or sex cells. That is, male and female gamete fused together. All organisms only after maturity can reproduce sexually. Flower. Flower is specialized reproductive structure of a plant in which sexual reproduction takes place. And function of flower is to produce haploid gametes and to ensure that fertilization will take place. Typical flower consists of four whorls: calyx, which is made up of sepals; corolla, which is made up of petals; androecium, made up of stamens; and gynoecium, made up of carpels. The diagram which you see is LS of flower. Essential whorls of flower are androecium, which is the male reproductive structure, and gynoecium, female reproductive structure. Sexual reproduction involves two major events. First is meiosis, that is reductional cell division and fusion of gametes to form diploid zygote. And second is production of genetically dissimilar offsprings. Variations are useful for survival and the evolution of species over time. Sexual reproduction is characterized by fusion of male and female gamete, that is fertilization, formation of zygote, and embryogenesis. The sequential events that occurs in sexual reproduction are grouped into three distinct stages, that is pre-fertilization, fertilization, and post-fertilization. Androecium is made up of stamens. So you can see here, these are the androecium, and this androecium is made up of stamen. So this is stamen. Each stamen further consists of three parts, that is anther, filament, where anther and filament are joined together, that is connective. Structure of anther. Immature stage of anther is represented by a group of parenchyma tissue, and this parenchyma tissue is further surrounded by single layered epidermis. Structure of anther. Anther is generally dithecous, means it is made up of two lobes. There are two lobes, and in each lobe there are four pollen sacs, means it is tetrasporangiate. So anther generally is dithecous, having two lobes, and tetrasporangiate. So you can see in this diagram, there are two lobes. This is one, this is second, and in each lobe you can see there are two pollen sacs. So total there are four pollen sacs, that is tetrasporangiate. If anther is monothecous, when one lobe is present, it contains two pollen sacs. So in monothecous anther, there are two pollen sacs, you can see over here. Now the differentiation arises when hypodermal cells get transformed into archisporial cell. So you can see here, in anther, hypodermal cell get transformed into archisporial cell. Archisporial cell further divides into inner sporogenous cell and outer primary parietal cell. The inner sporogenous cell forms sporogenous tissue, and each cell of sporogenous tissue is capable of giving rise to a microspore tetrad, pollen grain, whereas the outer parietal cell undergo division to form anther wall layer. The wall of mature anther consists of four layers. Outer is epidermis, then endothecium, then middle layer, and tapetum. You can see in flowchart, archisporial cell, means hypodermal cells get transformed into archisporial cell, which further divides into inner sporogenous cell, and outer parietal cell. Inner sporogenous cell forms sporogenous tissue, which further forms microspore, tetrad, pollen grain, and outer parietal cell forms anther wall layer, that is epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and tapetum. Epidermis is the outermost protective layer made up of tabular flattened cell. So this is epidermis. Endothecium, second layer, again single layer. It is a subepidermal layer made up of radially elongated cell with fibrous thickening. So outer one is epidermis, which is followed by endothecium. Middle layer, it is inner to endothecium. You can see over here, made up of thin-walled cell, 1 to 2 layers, which may disintegrate in mature anther. The third one is the middle layer, present between endothecium and tapetum. Tapetum, innermost nutritive layer of anther wall. It immediately encloses the sporogenous tissue, that is microspore mother cell. So this is pollen sac, and the outermost layer of pollen sac is called as tapetum. So this diagram is of T.S of Anther.